Welcome to You Ask, We Answer. Today, we take a close look at marijuana, also called weed or pot. We hope the information you learn from today's program will help students make their own decisions about using marijuana.
Think about all the young people you know in your life. Do you feel that most of them have decided to use marijuana? Today, we'll find out what you can gain by standing out from the crowd.
What's the value of being unique? Let's start by looking at the science. William, what do you have for us?
Thanks, John and JT. We're going to talk with some experts that study marijuana use. We especially want to know what the science says about the effects of marijuana on teens. Our experts today are Dr. Susan Ames, a professor at Claremont Graduate University, and Dr. Sussman, a professor at USC. Let's get right to some viewer questions.
I've heard that using marijuana is harmless. Is that true?
Dr. Ames, is marijuana harmless? After all, it is a legal medicine in some states.
As you may know, adolescence is actually a time of great developmental change. And one such change that does occur during this period of time is maturing regions of the brain. And the parts of the brain that are responsible for, let's say, decision-making processes, thought processes, response inhibition, and more impulsive type behaviors. And so during this time of adolescence and this developmental change, some youth are actually, they don't feel comfortable in their own skin. And so, or in other words, they might experience a sense of disbalance. And so, for example, they may feel under or over aroused, too elated, sad, or anxious. And so one thing that youth can do is not turn to drugs to gain a sense of balance. What they can do is reach out to maybe more, supportive teachers, supportive family members, supportive friends, and sort of engage those people and learn how to normalize the sense of imbalance by not engaging in risky behaviors, but engaging in more pro-social behaviors.
Okay, those are some serious concerns. Let's go to another viewer question.
I've heard that marijuana can help calm you down if you're anxious. Is that true?
Dr. Sussman, what would you say? Marijuana isn't really a hard drug, is it? How addictive can it be?
If you don't take a foreign substance into your body, you learn how to better control your body functions. You're closer, you're more in touch with them. That's why, nowadays meditation has become very popular, which is like the opposite of using marijuana. You are gaining a sense of very much awareness of your stream of thought, your focus of attention, of executive cognitive control. And I think that's what you can gain by not smoking marijuana.
Thank you both for your time today, and thanks for giving us the straight facts. Teens need accurate information to make decisions about marijuana. John, JT, back to you.
So it seems like there are some very real things for young students to think about when deciding whether or not they'll use marijuana.
The experts sure gave us some good information to think about. I know I always appreciate people who tell it like it is.
Now let's have a look at some more viewer questions to see if recent news reports can be of any help. It's a little segment we call The News.
In this segment, we try to answer viewer questions about using marijuana by looking at news segments from around the country. Let's start with a video from Lucas.
I think most of the kids around me at school smoke pot. Are there really good reasons for me to stay away from pot? What's in it for me?
Well, Lucas, a news story from Colorado showed that students deciding not to use marijuana benefited by actually finishing high school. They weren't one of the 720 students expelled because of pot.
We also found a news story showing that when in their 20s, teens deciding not to use marijuana are more likely to earn a college degree, have a job, and make more money.
We have one more viewer video. This one's from Jaden.
I think my dad and most of his friends smoke pot, but what's in it for me if I stay away from it?
Well, Jaden, here's some news that may help. There's an ingredient in marijuana called THC. It's what gets people high. A recent study showed that marijuana had only 1% THC in the 1970s and 3% in the 1990s. But today's average marijuana has 13% THC, and some even has 20% or more.
Now that means today's marijuana is way stronger than when older people started using it. Also, reports indicate most adult users start using it in their 20s, not in their early teens. These days, if you decide to stay away from marijuana while you're young, you'll keep thinking clearer and you are more likely to be in control of yourself.
So, looking at all these news stories, it seems that deciding to be independent and not use marijuana can lead to some very real benefits.
Right. Definitely something to think about. Now let's go to William for another perspective.
Thanks, John and JT. Now we're going to hear from someone who's led an extraordinary life in sports, Earl Watson from the NBA.
My name is Earl Watson. I'm a professional basketball player, NBA career 13 years, in a league where the average career is only 3. I'm 6'1", which is not even average height for the NBA, which is 6'6". And I believe my only edge in life was staying away from drugs, staying away from marijuana, from alcohol, and being focused, having complete clarity and drive. I have a great school in Kansas City, where I'm from. I've been awarded Lifetime Achievement Awards for all kinds of programs, 30 teams in traveling basketball in Southern California, which is #1 in the West, #4 in the country, and I'm now becoming a professional coach in the NBA.
With all his experience and his new career as a coach, he's a great choice to handle a couple of viewer questions. We're looking for information to help you see that you can gain by standing out from the crowd. Let's start with a YouTube video from Noah.
I play a lot of sports. Most of my friends smoke, and I've been wondering if staying away from pot will make me a better athlete.
Earl, what would you say to Noah?
What do you gain by not smoking pot, marijuana, weed, however you want to phrase it, is you gain freedom. Everybody thinks freedom is smoking weed and getting away from problems, but really it's captivity. The freedom you gain by not smoking weed is building character and learning ways to deal with obstacles in life that makes you a better person in the longevity of life.
Thanks, Earl. Sounds like great advice. We also have a video from Sophia. She's a young soccer player with a good question.
I play soccer and I'm pretty good. Will staying away from pot make me a better player? Most people around me smoke pot and I wonder.
Earl, what do you think?
In order to improve in any sport, and staying away from marijuana is absolutely #1. It improves your skill by being attention to detail is amazing in sports, because after a certain level, everyone's the same, and it's the details that separate you in sport and life, which mirror each other, and the hand-eye coordination and just clarity and being involved in the game without any distractions.
Earl, thanks for your time and your great advice. Sounds like there's a lot that young athletes can gain if they decide to be unique and not use marijuana.
So we've looked at the science about students and marijuana use. You've also seen our news reports. What you do with this information is up to you.
Absolutely right, John. We've also seen how even athletes have been benefited by standing out from the crowd and deciding not to use marijuana.
A big part of being independent is making your own decisions. We hope you'll think about what you've seen and heard today to make up your own mind.
Thanks for tuning in. You've asked, we've answered, now you can decide.